Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, whatever it is to you. I'm back with another day with the S60, and we are going to be rolling some fenders today. Let's do it. Alright, now that we got the car completely up in the air, the next thing we need to do is get out everything we're going to need. So I've got a heat gun, an extension cord, the fender roller, and my 19mm socket. And the next thing we're going to do just before we get started is we're going to take some quick detailer or anything you got laying around and just go ahead and clean up the edge of all your lips. If you guys have really dirty, which I cleaned them yesterday, but if you got really dirty fenders, like I got some stuff up here, you could risk damaging your paint if you don't get that off. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get mine cleaned up and get all this set up. Alright, so let's see. If you guys are wondering why I need to actually roll the fenders on this, you can see it's the rear that really gives us the issue here. I mean, this is my finger. You can see the size of that lip on there. It's pretty massive. So the tire comes out to about right here. So I'm hoping that if we get this rolled in, then it'll just graze by the tire. Oh yeah, and I also never, I don't think I ever told the channel the story about this wheel and why it looks so screwed up. So I was at the car wash one time, and I had the Meguiar's purple wheel wax, the wheel wash stuff, and I sprayed it on all of my tires, ran out, sprayed purple power on this, left it sitting for about 30 seconds, and all my paint was gone. So don't ever spray purple power on a wheel, because like, it happens. That's literal proof that it happens. Alright, so we are going to be starting in this wheel well just because it's the most damaged part of the vehicle. And speaking of that damage, I think I'm actually going to make a video pretty soon taking this all apart and trying to fix some of it. But for now, we're working on rolling some fenders. I got my extension cord plugged into my heat gun, and I wasn't really able to find any videos. I didn't look very hard, but I wasn't able to find any videos on doing this on a Volvo. So a few things are going to be different. Starting off, the first thing you can see, obviously we have no lug nuts. We have lug bolts on this car, so we're going to have to go about mounting this a little bit differently. And then secondly, Volvos, and I know a lot of cars have these, it's just this little teeny bolt right here that holds on this whole brake disc assembly so that when you have the wheel off, it doesn't just want to fall off. So we are going to go ahead and take that off. It shouldn't be very loose. It is a little rusty, but let's see. And it's just a little thing. One of those. Set that aside to where you're not going to lose it. I'm going to set it right by my wrench. And then you're going to need to get either your lug nuts or lug bolts in my case. You're going to need to get those ready to go. And I'm only going to use 3. A lot of people might give me shit for that. I really don't care. And I got the car in neutral right now. I have the whole thing up on jack stands, so I'm not worried about it going anywhere. I'm going to start out by mounting this upside down and hoping that there's a bolt pattern on here that lines up with my stuff, because I also have a 5x108 bolt pattern. I think 5x108. Yeah, that's a really weird bolt pattern. So it's being a pain in the ass. And it looks like this thing doesn't even have my bolt pattern integrated into it, because I don't think I can get a third one on there. Oh, no, I'm wrong, I can. Now I'm going to tighten these all just a little tiny bit just to try to get it a little bit centered. I just don't want a wonky roll on my fenders, so checking the edges, it's a little bit off. I don't think it's going to matter any. Alright, so I'm already running into my first issue, which is the coilovers are on here already, so I can't get it low enough to push up. Might want to do this before you put coilovers on the car, guys. Guess I'll get back to you when I figure out what I'm going to do. Alright, now I do already have some paint cracking that you can see going on. I got some here, a little bit here, and on the other fenders I have some more. So I guess some would say that's a good thing because it's already cracked, but I would say it's a bad thing because I feel like that's going to allow it to crack even easier than it would before. So I'm going to go ahead and use my heat gun, get this thing nice and toasty, not too hot though, and then hopefully we get some easy rolls. I'm hitting my brake caliper, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to take a pause from the time lapse to show you guys what I'm doing. So in the front, right in this area right here, it was kind of already tucked up underneath just a little tiny bit. I think from my tires hitting it a few times possibly. But basically how I'm getting around doing it when I already have the coilovers on and it's a little too low is I started in that spot that was a little rolled up already. And I'm making sure to use a lot of heat, not too much, but like as much as I possibly can and still get away with it. And I'm kind of tucking the fender up behind right here and starting right there, and I'm kind of like making it continue the roll instead of just trying to start right here and push out. I'm trying to make this continue that roll. So, you know, if you guys are going through a similar situation, hopefully you already get a little bit of a roll. If not, maybe you can take a rubber mallet or something and try to get one little spot going that's rolled, and then after that you can just continue that roll from there. Yeah, I really need to try to figure out how to fix this. But other than that, the fender is coming along pretty nicely. It's getting a nice little tuck up in there. Let me get this off. I don't know what that is. Alright, so I kind of ran out of heat on that last pass. I noticed this, at first it was very malleable. It started to get a little bit harder, so now it's time to warm it back up. Alright, so we're kind of getting a nice little roll, but I gotta be honest with you guys. Oh, almost dropped you. Gotta be honest with you guys, this is taking a really long time, and you guys have pretty much seen what I've been doing. I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm not gonna film it because this is gonna take a really long time. It's a very time-consuming thing, and I've worked with metal a lot. I've been a welder before for a company. I've been a welder in the Navy. So the one thing I've learned about working with metal is patience is key. Patience. As long as you are patient, like I watched some video where I seen somebody say that cracking your paint is inevitable pretty much, but I don't agree with that. I think if you're patient enough and you take your time, you will be able to do this like a professional your first time. But have patience. Patience is key. Make sure you use a lot of heat and have a lot of patience. And I will be back with you guys when I'm like much further along in this process. Alright, so I think I'm just about finished with this first one. It came out, let's see, it came out not too bad. Trying to get it to focus, it's super bright out here. Came out not too bad. One thing I did realize, but this is because of the collision damage, is that this like fender is not, that's supposed to be at a 90-degree angle right there, and you can see how far down that's bent. So when I do the body work, I'm gonna have to redo that bend, get that back to 90 degrees. But it got kind of like a, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up as well as my eyes, but it got kind of like a wide body thing going on now. This side used to do that already a little tiny bit, but not nearly that dramatic. So hopefully we're gonna get like a wide body effect on this car. That'd be sick, because I have been wanting to kind of do that. That's not too bad. I know it's not technically supposed to do that, but I kind of like the way it looks, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna do the other front fender next and see how it comes out. Alright, so I believe that the fender over there actually probably had a lot more damage than I thought it did, for a couple reasons. The first reason, as soon as I set this up, you can see that this is at a good angle. Even though I have coilovers on this side as well, like this side's coming out a lot better. Next thing we see is we don't have that giant gap. Okay, that was pretty obvious, right? The gap was huge. But the thing I most think that side got more damage than I realized was because I lowered both sides of the car to the same height, but I was measuring from like the center of my wheel to the fender arch, and this side was way lower. Couldn't figure out why. As you can see, this side was so much lower that it like viciously rubbed against the metal, rubbed through the plastic fender liner into the metal. So I ended up raising this side back up. So maybe my car doesn't feel very well right now because the heights are very different, and I'm kind of like nervous about that right now. But for now, we're just gonna worry about this. I'm just kind of brainstorming out loud to you guys. This side looks like it's gonna be a lot easier to roll, so I'm gonna go ahead and start heating it up and get to work. Alright, so I'm pretty much done with the fronts now. You can see I got it rolled a fair amount. Let me try to get this camera there and flip it around. So I got it rolled a fair amount there, as you can see. But I'm not going to worry about like tucking it all the way up to where it's flush. I'm okay with leaving it, you know, kind of like this. I don't need it to be a perfect taco. The fronts don't really rub, that's not the issue. I just wanted to do them a little bit, but the rear is the real issue. You can see, I mean, that's some meat. It's some meat on that lip. The front was, let's see if I can get this to focus. The front was the same exact width as this plastic piece of the bumper, so that kind of shows the difference there. Alright, so one thing I just noticed, there's actually two pieces of metal. It should have been obvious from the pinch welds, but there's two pieces of metal in there that are both tack welded together. Let me make sure you guys got a good view. Two pieces in there that are tack welded together, so it's going to take a lot more persuasion than I thought. You're going to have to heat it up a lot more. There's a good view for you guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go inside and heat it up. Alright, now let's give it a try. Yeah, it's rolling a lot easier now. as I'm sure you guys can see, what I'm kind of doing here is I'm letting that side go. I'm hanging on right here, and I'm hanging on with the other hand to the handle, and as I go, I'm actually pulling the handle tighter as I'm moving it instead of tightening it while it's sitting in one place. It seems to be working a little bit better. Okay, so we finished the first initial roll. I just rolled it up to about right level with the little plastic trim thing. The tire's never going to hit that. It's only going to be hitting up here. So I'm sorry for the wonky camera angle. I'm trying to do my best. So now that we got that first initial roll, we got it tucked up a little bit underneath there. What I did is I put the fender roller back in further. Make sure you guys can see. I put the fender roller back in. Okay, not sure why it keeps stopping my video, but anyway, I went ahead and put the fender roller back in. I raised it up a tiny bit so that I was able to drop this head more straight. So now we're basically gonna, instead of pushing it up, we're gonna be pushing that fender roll outward. So you basically want the wheel to be on the back of the fender pushing forward. So as we turn this fender roller to the left, it's basically going to bring that arm out more. So that's when people say rolling slash pulling, that's what they mean. They mean you're pulling it outward a little bit. First thing we want to do, we already got quite a bit of heat in there still. If you don't have heat in it still, go ahead and heat it up. And now I didn't do this on the front because it wasn't that important, but on the back I really need to get this fender out of the way, so that's why I'm doing this. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and put some more heat into that. When you guys notice that the fender is being super stubborn and it just doesn't want to roll, that's a pretty good indication that it's time to put more heat into it. Alrighty, here is the finished product. As you can see, we do have a little tiny bit of waviness right here when it's on the ground. Definitely not gonna be able to notice that unless you're like staring at it with a magnifying glass. But we got a really nice roll on here. As you can see, it's pretty much almost, I mean, it's like flush with it. There's probably this big of a gap between this lip and the wall. So we did pretty good on this side. Gonna go ahead and try to repeat it on the other side. Let's see if it gave us an arch at all. Not really, pretty much still stock body lines, but the front fenders did come out quite a bit. I kind of like it. Kind of has that like the blob eye, or not blob eye, the Hawkeye wide body look, or like a GTR wide body look almost. How they have those factory fenders that kind of come out almost like a wide body kit. I dig it. So yep, one more fender to go and we are almost done. Alright, so there we have it. We got a job well done once again. Didn't crack any paint. We got all the fenders rolled. Let's see. We'll check out the crappy tire for test. And it looks like that is literally perfect. The edge of that is literally going perfectly behind there now. So I'm gonna be able to drop this. I'm looking at maybe 1.5 inches drop in the rear, and maybe 2. At the front, I think we're going to go 1 inch lower. I want the fenders to sit about right here, I think. We'll see when I'm cruising down the road, or at least like perfectly level with the tire. We will see, but that is in a video to come. So if you guys enjoyed watching this, seeing how to roll the fenders on a Volvo S60, then hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe if you want to see some more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.